When I dreamed up a fictional motley crew of voyagers for Nicollet's expeditions, I found my inspiration with my hometown, surnaming my characters Edgar Colton, Daniel Lyons, Davy Crooks, and Jim Taopi, after the three towns in my school district and the community center that once hosted proms and dances. But I got to wondering, what kind of word is Taopi? Does it have any meaning for my gruff, loyal sidekick to Nicollet? Well, it turns out there was a real man by the name of Taopi, who would have been certainly in the thick of things during Nicollet's time in Minnesota.
The name Taopi is a Dakota word that means wounded man. Although I was unable to learn Taopi's given name, he earned his adult name after receiving a gruesome wound from a Chippewa battle axe.
Taopi was born to a Dakota warrior named Iron Sword and a woman named Berry Picker. The battle disfigured his face and stole his father, but his mother, Berry Picker,
soon married a local trader named St. Clair and gave Taopi a half-brother named Job St. Clair. Berry Picker settled at Fort Snelling and was baptized with a Christian name Betsy, or Old Bets, since she lived to the ripe old age of 85, although there were rumors she could be as old as 120.
While her renowned beauty eventually faded, Old Bets became a celebrity of sorts, for first taking care of the locals and greeting them all to Fort Snelling with a friendly ho-ho.
Bishop Henry Whipple played an important part in Taopi's adult life, converting him to Christianity and helping to establish him as one of the more successful farmers in the Lower Sioux Reservation.
Taopi's half-brother, Job St. Clair, married Mary Faribault, whose grandson would be Reverend Henry Whipple St. Clair, one of Shattuck's finest students. One of Taopi's close friends was another newly converted Christian, Andrew Goodthunder, who was born as Wakinyan Washte, but settled with his wife in the new reservation. When Little Crow and Cutnose violently escalated the conflict between the United States government and the Dakota people, there was little choice for Christian Dakota like Taopi and Goodthunder.
Taopi would later explain the events as such. On the morning of the 18th of August, 1862, I was preparing to go down to the mission house, the residence of our minister, the Reverend Mr. Hinman. He had promised to go with me to assist in laying out our burial plot near the new church. My child had been buried but a few days before. As I was starting, the old man, Ta'emena, came to my house and said, "All the upper bands are armed and coming down the road." I asked, "For what purpose are they coming?" He said, "I don't know." The old man had hardly gone out when Tatekampi came running to the house and said, "They're killing the traitors." I said, "What do you mean?" "The Rice Creek Indians, Shakopee's band, have murdered the whites on the other side of the Minnesota River and they are killing the traitors." I said, "This is awful work." As soon as he had gone, I heard the report of guns. I went up to the top of my house, and from there I could see the shouts of the Indians and see them plundering the stores. The men of my band now began to assemble at my house. We counseled, but we could do nothing to resist the hostile Indians because we were so few, and they were between us and the settlements. I told them not only to keep out of the disturbance, but also not to go near the plunderers. Some of them obeyed me. I sent Goodthunder with a message to Wabasha, but he could not reach his house on account of the hostile Indians. The hostile Indians soon came to our village and commanded us to take off our citizens' clothing and put on blanket and leggings. They said they would kill us bad talkers. We took our guns and were prepared to defend ourselves. We did not know what to do. I wanted to take my wagon and go to the whites, but I could not. Goodthunder came back and brought news that nearly a whole company of soldiers from the the fort that had been killed at the ferry. Good Thunder and Wahakan Kamaza and myself went into my cornfield to talk over the matter. We wanted to escape the fort that night, but we could not because we were watched. We determined to go to the whites at the first opportunity. I proposed to take 2 white girls who had been taken prisoner at Redwood and take them to within a short distance of the fort and send them in with a letter stating that we were ready to cooperate with the whites in any way they might direct. We were ready, but the girls were too afraid to go.
Although forced into service, Taopi joined Good Thunder, Wabasha, and a few others to help stop the war crimes happening. After pillaging Minnesota for weeks, Little Crow managed to take hundreds of pioneer women and children prisoner. For Little Crow, these hostages could be used for violent ends, and also for negotiation if the war turned. But for Christian men like Taopi and Good Thunder, who had cultivated a world with their new neighbors, the deeds of Little Crow could not be tolerated. Taopi and his friends managed to free 250 women and children, turning the tide of war. Because of his bravery, Taopi received a letter from Henry Sibley, which allowed him to return to Minnesota, where he made a new home near Faribault.
Taopi pleaded for his own people, who were exiled in Nebraska and South Dakota, writing to his friends in government, "Do not reward our loyalty by delivering us up to our enemies. We are but a little band, all that remains of a once powerful nation, upon the soil which was the hunting grounds of our fathers. We need but a little space for a little while."
Vouched for by Henry Sibley, he was allowed to return to Minnesota. Ironically, some of the wounds were healed in 1887 when Andrew Good Thunder and Taopi's nephew, Henry St. Clair, spoke at the 4th of July celebration at the town bearing the namesake of Good Thunder. Taopi was ultimately laid to rest here in the town of Faribault, surrounded by pioneers who knew the measure of the man.